Let's do the Bobcat Shuffle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bobcat Corner. Don't adjust your screen. This is just a preliminary test, another experiment of mine with another camera angle. Hope you guys are going to like this. This is Stephen Vitt coming back to you again with a late report because this is late at night when I'm doing this, but I might as well get this out here. Starting with this, we're going to start with the upcoming game between the Ohio Bobcats and the Ball State Cardinals. They're going to be visiting Muncie, Indiana to play against the Ball State Cardinals. Just want to read off to you guys some stats here real fast before we go on to the other topics. So, first things first, if you guys end up liking this video, please give this a like. Please share it with your friends and family, and please let them know about Bobcat Corner, that it's a thing, it exists, and you know about my Ko-fi page, you know about everything else I'm doing, what I do on Instagram and stuff. So just feel free to follow me on there on social media. So yeah. Anyway, let's just get that out of the way here. And yes, I have a note card. I know, but yeah, Ball State did some research on Ball State, the Cardinals, what they bring to the table. So far, they do have a record of 1-3, which would be uh, obviously not that good, but you can't judge a book by its cover as well. I've also heard stuff that the Cardinals, they have been playing very hard. They've been trying to get some wins here. They had like a heartbreaker against UConn the other week. You know, certain stuff that just didn't bounce their way. It's that kind of team we're dealing with here going up there to Muncie. So, with that in mind, let's just read off the stats that the Ball State Cardinals bring to the table here. Their starting quarterback would be Kyle Kelly. I hope I'm saying his first name right. Kyle Kelly. 472 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Also as a runner, because apparently they like to get him out there to run as well. Kyle Kelly, 62 rushes for 170 yards and 1 touchdown. So chances are that you're going to see the Cardinals deploy Kelly as a running threat in some way, like design quarterback runs sometimes. I would have to guess that. So, yeah, there's that, but also they do have one standout running back. It's unlike Bowling Green, what we just faced this previous week. Ball State only has one featured running back, and his name would be Qua Ashley. So far this season, he's had 52 rushes for 295 yards, but he can also receive the ball too. He's a receiving threat too. 10 receptions for 47 yards and 1 touchdown. So, yeah, there's like a mix and match of what they want to do with Qua Ashley. Got to account for him in this game because I've talked about it quite a few times already this year that the Ohio Bobcats defense, especially against the run, uh, hasn't been doing all that great against the run, especially early, like very early in the first quarter, especially. As I keep saying, and I'm going to keep saying this, we do need to clamp down better and earlier when it comes to run defense. We've got to find a way to do that. Got to do a better job of that. So this will be our true test here, going on the road again. We have not won a road game yet so far this year. Went to Rutgers, did not get a win there. Went to Ohio State, obviously. Columbus did not get a win there. So we're going to Muncie, Indiana to face Ball State. This would be a good statement win for us to finally get a road win for this year so we can keep on this momentum. We've won 2 games in a row now, trying to make it 3. Looking forward to it. I think this is definitely a winnable game for us. Of course, going into this season, like the preseason preview of this whole schedule for the Ohio Bobcats this year, I did have this marked down as a loss simply because I was thinking the Ball State Cardinals would be so hyped up, fired up, ready to go for this game. They'd be wide awake for this game, regardless of what their record would be. Remains to be seen. We'll see. But I do think this is definitely a winnable game for the Bobcats. They are, on paper at least, they are definitely the more talented team of the two. Ball State is still trying to find their stride. They're still trying to find their real identity on offense and defense for that matter. So, yeah, going into the first 5 games of the season, going back and reviewing that, reading off the stats for Bobcats players, Parker Navarro, hey, what can you say about him? Parker Navarro, been great. Starting quarterback, 1,078 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, I know, but overall good stuff from Parker. And as a runner, we know what Parker Navarro can do because he's a dual threat quarterback. 52 rushes for 321 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground. Always good there when you have Parker Navarro running like that, creating something out of nothing, as I always say. But also the running game behind Parker Navarro. This is where things get complicated for the opposition when they're facing the Ohio Bobcats because you have two talented running backs at least getting a fair share of the carries. Starting with C.A. Bangura. First 5 games, he's had 84 rushes for 414 yards, 4 touchdowns. Good stuff there. He's back on track to what he was doing back in the day in 2022, 2023 for the Bobcats. So he's on his way. Bangura, he's on his way. Good to see that from CA. And Duncan Broom, again, it may be lost in the shuffle sometimes because he's running back number 2, but I'm paying attention to this. I'm personally paying attention to the development of Duncan Broom as a running back. I like what I'm seeing from him. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Duncan Broom. And I'm telling you guys now, he's going to be a breakout star eventually down the road. I'm not saying it's going to be overnight, but eventually he's going to be there. He's going to be in that position where C.A. Bangura is now. Eventually, I do think that. For Duncan Broom in these first 5 games, he's had 47 rushes, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he complements C.A. Bangura in the running game and Parker Navarro for that matter. So yeah, when you have when you have 3 reliable runners like that for your running game, you're going to go places. You're going to score points. You're going to get yards. You're going to get some action on the field on offense. So that's why I have no real issues with the Ohio Bobcats offense right now. It's good for me to see that. So, yeah. In the receiving game, Chase Hendricks, 29 receptions, 481 yards, 4 touchdowns throughout the first 5 games of the regular season. Mason Williams, tight end, I gave him a shout out on Bobcat Corner Live on Saturday night. For the season so far, he's had 14 receptions, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just really good stuff from Mason Williams. Again, he's going to be another breakout star in the tight end position. I think he's well on his way to doing just that. Be on the lookout for that guy, Mason Williams. And also Caleb Gossett, another honorable mention here in the receiving game. 8 receptions, 84 yards. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this game between Ohio and Ball State. And for the record, I'm going to mention this right now before I get to injury reports. I will be a guest on a fellow podcast, college football fan podcast. It's called Ball State of the Union. It's a group of guys who get together to cover the Ball State Cardinals and what they're doing. You should check them out, Ball State of the Union podcasts. They cover everything Ball State. I'm going to give you guys a little screenshot to cover this so you guys can see what I'm seeing. Check them out on YouTube when you can. They put out good stuff. They have a catchy intro. So, yeah, I'm going to be a guest there on their show soon to help them preview this game between the Cardinals and the Bobcats. So be on the lookout for that. Ball State of the Union. Check it out this week. So, yeah, finally getting to the injury reports. We're going to get to this because head coach Brian Smith did announce this in the latest press conference that he had with local reporters. Wide receiver Max Rodarte, unfortunately, it's been announced by Coach Smith that Max Rodarte is out for the year. He's out for the entire rest of the regular season with a bad ankle-related injury, I think. He was just carted, off the field following that game against Gardner Webb. Just, really tough, tough to see. Hope Max Rodarte has a speedy recovery, a great recovery, so that we can see him back on the field next year. I mean, tough loss. I mean, losses are going to happen like that due to injury. You just got to deal with it. And knowing our team, we can regroup. We still have capable wide receivers. We have up and coming wide receivers that need their opportunities, and this is going to be a spot opened up for for them. So we'll see what happens here. Also, injury reports: defensive tackle Pius Jugo and linebacker Jack Freeze. Freeze, we have not seen him since the West Virginia game, which has been a while. Pius Jugo, he's been out for a couple games. Coach Smith, Brian Smith, he has announced in that press conference that Jugo and Freeze are basically week to week. So any week now, basically within a couple weeks, give or take, you're going to see them back on the field soon. So soonish. So that's going to be good. There's a chance we're going to be seeing them again on the field of play. Good news there. So, yeah, I'm going to cut this part off. We got more news to report here very soon in Bobcat Corner episode number 66. Hope you guys stay tuned. I'm going to be making this transition to another camera angle. Hope you guys like this camera angle, by the way. Give me a comment about this if you like it. And I'll be back very soon. So, good morning, everyone. This is the next morning, Tuesday morning, by the way, that I'm doing this. Yeah, on my cell phone, I know, but just want to get this one out because it's not worth talking about too much, but I just find it funny that Paul Finebaum, you know who he is. He works at ESPN, at least he was. He's now considering quitting ESPN just to go run for the U.S. Senate, a U.S. Senate seat in the state of Alabama. I'm not surprised by that because you see some overlap between sports and politics. Unfortunately, you do. So it's not that surprising that Paul Finebaum would consider that. I'm going to attach a link in the description box below. For the Win, USA Today, that article that talks about it. Paul Finebaum considering running for, state senate for Alabama. It's just honestly, guys, it's a joke. I don't know what else to tell you about that. It's a joke. Just go read this article for yourselves and come up to your own conclusion as to what's going on here. Yeah, honestly, I could deal with not having to listen to Paul Finebaum with his hot takes about college sports, college football, because a lot of it's hot garbage, if you ask me. It's just propaganda, pushed. ESPN #1 all the time, bullcrap. I know I'm being a little blunt when I say that, but Paul Finebaum has gotten on my nerves for many years now. And it's not just him, it's many people on that network that get on my nerves for their hot takes and how ignorant they are when it comes to what college football fans really want. Paul Finebaum being at the top of that list, or at least close to it. Yeah, so if he wants to run for Senate in Alabama, that's fine. He can go ahead and do it. And honestly, that would free up space for talking heads to do whatever. And all the while, I'm still not going to care because ESPN is like a sinking ship when it comes to stuff like that. Hot takes, and it's garbage. So, yeah, I'm just going to link that article down below in the description box for you to read. Yeah, what a joke. And welcome back. And I'm going to report real fast this one last bit of news. I'm going to be reporting from I'm just going to be reading off this thing from footballscoop.com written by Zach Barnett, but other people have commented on this, especially Ross Dellinger. He had his own report on 3 about this. So let's just get right to it. I will provide a link to this article in the description box below. And it's titled FCS Commissioners Hear Proposal to Take FCS Playoffs Private. And this has everything to do with private equity, as you guys will find out. Written by Zach Barnett on September 25th. Let's start reading. The FBS postseason has historically been the only NCAA postseason event to operate outside the purview of the NCAA, largely because the concept of the football postseason is older than the NCAA itself. However, that could soon change. At the Collegiate Commissioners Association meetings this week in Chicago, Illinois, FCS leaders heard a pitch from the private equity firm Sequence Equity, remember that name, on removing that division's postseason from NCAA control and into a new organization similar to the college football playoff. Basically, an FCS version of that, if you will. While details at this time are scarce, the theory is simple from Hero Sports, the quote from them. Quote, "We lose money," said one sitting athletic director whose program has made multiple playoff runs in the past decade. "It's a great product and tremendously undervalued. Surely there has to be another way. I think every athletic director, president, and commissioner will listen if something like this is presented." According to Front Office Sports, Sequence Equity would own a minority stake and inject tens of millions of dollars into the venture, and the FCS conferences would retain the majority interest. I am going to stop reading right there, and I'm just going to provide my thoughts on this real fast. It's been reported a lot about private equity in college sports, where that's going, and why private equity firms are getting involved in all these deals, especially when it comes to stuff like the college football playoff, postseason formats, and stuff like that. I've always said this. It's a double-edged sword when you're dealing with private equity. There are pros to it, but there are definitely cons to it, and the cons are definitely highlighted and for good reason. If you don't monitor private equity deals the right way, it's going to come back to bite you. And I've seen countless examples of that happening where either organizations, groups, or universities have not monitored, they just have not monitored their private equity deals well at all. And it came back to bite them. They had to pay back buku so much money back to these private equity firms, and it's just not good. This is what happens when you don't invest well. This is what happens when you don't monitor your finances well, especially when you're dealing with a private equity firm. So when I read a report like this, that the FCS, that they might be considering doing this, uh, it's a red flag, no doubt. It's a red flag, and it definitely gives me a pause for concern. Um, the reasoning behind it I can understand, because the FCS needs to make money. The conferences, the schools in the FCS level, they need to make money. They need to keep their football product going. So in that respect, I understand it. But on the other hand, I'm also asking this: do you really need to take this risk, knowing what we know about private equity? Like I said, if you don't monitor this well, you're going to pay back a lot of money to these firms. And I'm just not feeling it, to be honest with you. It's one of those things where it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I know ADs, presidents, and officials in FCS schools are going to say, "Oh, but we're losing money." Well, go find creative ways to make money other than looking at private equity. That's what you should be doing. Look at other creative ways to make money. Find some creative fundraising uh, things to do instead of just going to private equity. It's a quick cash grab, no doubt about it. It's a quick cash grab to do this, to go the private equity route. And for the short term, you know, in the in the immediate future, you might be feeling good about yourselves economically speaking, but then in the long run, when things are not playing out the way that you thought they would, and then you have to start paying back money to these private equity firms that you originally had a handshake deal with, is it really worth it? Just look throughout history, recent history, not just sports, but just other businesses that do this, that rely on private equity money to get them by. First 3 years of a venture, they'll be like, okay, we're doing well, we got the money, we're doing well. And then all of a sudden, it's like 5, 7, 10 years down the road, things just go to crap, and they have to pay back the money. So if the FCS ends up doing this, if they end up um, letting go of NCAA control over their playoff formats, their 2014 postseason event, if you end up letting go of that control from the NCAA and transfer that over to private equity related stuff, just be prepared for the consequences. You have to embrace embrace that. You have to face the consequences of your actions when it comes to this. So hopefully you guys over there in FCS territory that you can monitor this well and that you won't get bit by this private equity deal, but chances are something might happen. That's all I'm saying. So hope you guys can figure it out, that you can manage it well, but again, it's a double-edged sword. You have to know that. So yeah, that's going to be it for reporting here for episode number 66 of Bobcat Corner. Uh, it's always good for me to provide my thoughts on various topics in college sports and college football. If I'm doing a good job, please let me know, guys, in the comment section below. Please provide comments on any of the topics that I've talked about here in this episode. And also, Bobcat Corner Speak Up. That's a Telby link. It's a voice messaging platform that you can record your own uh, message up to 1 minute. Telby gives you up to 1 minute to record a message and pitch any topic that you want me to talk about on Bobcat Corner. Record your message, I'll review it, and if it sounds like a great topic for me to discuss, then I'll do it. I will feature your recorded message on my show. I guarantee it. If I pick it, I will review it, and I will just feature it on Bobcat Corner. That's the purpose of Bobcat Corner Speak Up. So please utilize that Telby link. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching Bobcat Corner episode number 66. I'm Stephen Vitz, and I'll be reporting again on college sports. Take care, guys. Bye.